Right. And there's Ted. Where's Rodwan? Rodwan's around here someplace. There's Rodwan. Pat Moreno. Where's Pat Moreno? There's Pat. You all know Pat. And Nikki Ashcraft is not here today, but she has rejoined us. And Wanda. Is Wanda here today? Wanda. And here's Wanda from Rowlett. Rowlett. So we got another person from. And it looks like we got 3 guests coming in. So I'll introduce them in just a second. All right. So of all of you all that are in the room today, who has joined the most recently? That's in the room. Are you joining? She's joining. All right. And your name is?
I think M. Carlisle Barber.
M. Carlisle Barber. All right. Here's our new member right there. All right. Fantastic. And so, M, how did you find out about Friendship Force? Through Patty. Patty. All right. Patty. Fantastic. So now we're going to have, not only we're going to have Friendship Force North, and now we're going to have Friendship Force East. We got Friendship Force North Dallas. All right. Okay. So who has been a member 5 years? If you can remember, or look at your tag, it tells you how long you've been on the board or on the club. At least 5 years. Raise your hand if you've been here at least 5 years. 10 years, keep your hand up. All right. 15 years, keep your hand up. 20 years, keep your hand up. 25 years, keep your hand up. All right, so it's down between Ray and Mary. So when did you join, Ray, roughly? And Mary? All right, and what year did you join, Sandy?
2003.
Okay. All right. So the longest, the most recent member is M. Carlisle. So if somebody would hand this to M. Carlisle when he gets there, thank you for joining. Almost. And it's a beautiful pin. It's a Friendship Force pin that are for sale over there. That if you go on a journey, you can take these and give these to your hosts. So Ray, thank you for being a veteran member. Yay. So one of the reasons I do that is, so if you're new, now you know who's been a long time, so you can go and talk to them and get all the scoop and all the good stories from Friendship Force Dallas and Friendship Force. And if you've been here a long time, now you know who the younger or the newer members are, so you can go and give them the scoop and all the fun stories. Okay, but we've got a wide range of people here in the club today. Come on, you can do it. Yes, Wanda's right here in the front. All right. So we were originally part of, or these people right here were originally members of the Friendship Force of Fort Worth. Okay. And everybody knows everybody goes, oh, we got to drive so far. These people drove 45 miles over to Fort Worth for probably a year or 2 years. And they decided, there's enough people in Dallas, we should start a club here. So in November of 1993, these people all got together and said, hey, let's figure out all the paperwork that we need to do to become a charter club of Friendship Force International. And the only people I know in this picture are Jackie Bloom and Mary Helen Lyons. I have no idea of these other folks. And then I don't think, it may be, I can't tell for sure. So that was almost 30 years ago, right? 29 years ago. So this year we're going to be celebrating our 30th anniversary, and we can either celebrate when they got together, or we can celebrate when FFI gave us our charter, or we can have both of them, right? Okay, and then back in 2009, when we hosted a regional conference, after the regional conference, again, here are some of our founding members. That is Margie Torello, Diana Bosworth, Linnell Koch, Jackie Bloom, Jerry Bloom, Brett Kisner, and Zia Shamsi. And Brud, for many, many, many years, was kind of like our liaison to get people in. That's how Paula and I got into this club, was through Brud. All right, so we saw it on the pledge. So what's Friendship Force's mission?
Friendship.
Global understanding that separates us on another barrier. Okay, so there are, quote, barriers between us and other people. Let's build a bridge to that other person. Let's go learn about that person, and let's understand and know what their culture is like. And the same thing when people come here. And the way that we do that is through homestays. Generally, that's how we do that. All right. And so this is now back to our tagline: a world of friends is a world of peace. Okay. Okay. So in Dallas, we're a charter club. So what are two of the things that we do a lot to fulfill that mission? Anybody? Hosting, other groups, what else?
Traveling.
What are we doing right now? Meeting. So those, to me, those are the two main things that we do. And underpinning all of that is your board. And the three, what I view as the three main things, is membership, communication, getting all the information out to everybody, and keeping track of all our funds so that we can buy equipment, buy clickers, buy microphones, run events and stuff like that. So I want to introduce now our Vice President, Randy Tesla.
A little bit about board officers. Sandy Kaiser, who is, there's Sandy right over there with the cap on. She's in the Bahamas with her husband, enjoying. Sandy's serving her second term. And of course, myself as vice president, I too am serving the second term. Another member of the board, voting member, is Edward, who's also second vice president, chairman of membership. Our secretary is Barb Taylor, and our treasurer is Leslie Parker, who is also on a friendship, some sort of global in Oman, right? So those are our officers. Now, that's part of comprises the board, and the other folks does not want to. Okay. There we go. The other component of the board is our committee chairmen, I should say. You saw the functions of the slide that Edward had. Part of the communications, Mary Williams. That function is really the website, and Mary has been looking to, I guess, retire from that and trying to encourage someone to pick up the, or at least help her on it. And apparently has somebody in mind anyway. But possibly. Okay, there we, that's where I heard your name. Yep. Okay. Another is Ways and Means, and Ray is in the audience, and I guess Ray and the board kind of agreed that maybe that committee be held in abeyance here for a while. Exactly. So right. So a lot of it. Okay, there you go. Another is telephone, which Patty Niemeyer chairs. That's a very active committee and a number of people. One of the things that they do is they make calls to get people involved in meetings like this and other events, day trips, and these Thursday luncheons. And so that's a very important component. Another one is newsletter, and Felicity is the chairperson of that. Fortunately for us, Felicity is moving out of the area, and we need a chairperson. Well, luckily at last month's meeting, newer members, Diana and Marty Hennessy, stepped up, raised their hand, and said that they're willing to. I think it was much to Felicity's surprise, and so they're going to take over that function. Yearbook is Edward. As Edward mentioned, we have the yearbooks in the back of the room. Sunshine Kathy Nathan is the chairperson of that. That committee is really to do kind of outreach to the members who are ill or maybe have lost.
Sally,
Yes.
you run that through your earphone, so I don't have to listen to it.
Programs are very important. Paula chairs that committee, and of course.
I have earplugs that you can use.
Part of that is the lining up topics and speakers.
It's in there.
And that can be very difficult at trying at times, as well as arranging other events like day trips. I did programs. And then of course, Journey is very important. And Julia chairs that, and she's handling both the domestic and international. And of course, that has two components, inbounds and outbounds. And then Leslie, of course, is there, of course, to fund it. Well, I probably should do this later. So, Friendship Force International is kind of encouraging all clubs to sort of do a self-assessment, look at yourself. Is there something you could be doing better or whatever? So the board decided that we needed to sort of kind of self-reflect. And so we met on January 28th at Kathy's house, and we kind of brainstormed ideas and kind of came up with a plan of action. And I kind of see what we actually kind of discussed. So there we go. We kind of went through and reviewed, what is really working well, what isn't working well, what things need to be improved, what things need to be changed. Are there any things that we no longer need to do? We identified, I think, the most important ones, and we decided on which ones we really needed to attack. And so what we did is we decided that we also need to identify people who would basically address those issues, because quite frankly, you can do all the prioritization you want and identify, but if you don't have a plan of action, if nobody takes responsibility, it's not going to get done. And so we did that, and really in a nutshell, and the board really identified recruitment and engagement as two of the very important items. Now, we have some really good numbers for membership, but we are an aging group. And so we need to attract some more younger members, and we have some younger members, but that's very important. We need somebody to basically fill us that are on the board, because if you look at some in their yearbook, you're going to see that a number of the people are kind of recycled through. They've been president, they've been different officers, and now they're coming back and whatever. We need some new people, new blood. And also with the committees. Now, we have telephone committee. We have a lot of members, which is great. But we have some committees or committees of one. And those folks are starting to burn out, and we can't afford to lose them. So we really need more people to get involved in that. So what's happening is at that 28th meeting, we divided into two groups, and they're both sort of attacking two different plan of actions, and they're going to come back to the board at the March meeting and make a presentation, and then we'll see where it goes. But we all are very encouraged. We think, like I said, there's a few things we really need to do. Also, I forgot to mention is the other element is really do a self-reflection of the board, kind of look at the committee structure. Maybe we need to tweak it. As Ray mentioned, we put on advanced ways and means, maybe it goes away or gets folded in if it's needed in the future to another committee. So how to participate? So attend meetings like this, attend the events, get involved in a committee. Please consider getting involved in a committee. Host or be involved in an inbound. We had pretty good participation at our inbound with Cedar Rapids, and consider being an ambassador and an outbound.
Any questions so far? If you have a question at any point in time, let me know.
Jump in.
We're going to keep track of all these questions. Thank you, Randy. Yep, that's coming up. Perfect straight line.
You know, which ones need help and which ones don't? How many people are in, like, helping with communication?
So the question is how do we know who needs help? And so that's part of our job as the board. We need to communicate a little bit more so that we can give you the opportunities and say, hey, we need somebody that needs, membership needs help or newsletter needs help. Now we've got somebody doing newsletter. Telephone committee. She's good right now. Yep. Right. So that's one of the things that we need to do is we need to do a little bit better job of communicating those opportunities. And so that's one of the things that we're looking at is how do we get more people involved? All right. All right. So we step out a little bit. We're going to get the journeys in a little bit. We step out a little bit. Now, Dallas in the United States, there's a bunch of regions, and Dallas is in the Southwest region. How many people know how many clubs are in the Southwest region? 6, 7. Anybody else got a guess? 12. It's in between. There's 8. Actually, there's 7 because Houston has suspended operations this year. So we've got kind of going north to south. We got Kansas up in Wichita, Oklahoma City, Fort Worth, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Baton Rouge. So those are our clubs. Turns out we are the second largest club in our region. I was just looking at the numbers from FFI. Kansas has 86 members. We have 60, but now we got 62. We're M. Lyle and Denise have just joined. So welcome. And your name? Cindy. What's your last name? Cindy Fraley. Okay, and so you're a guest today. So welcome to the guests. And so before you leave or you get a chance, if you give us your name and email, we can get some information out to you. All right. So the other clubs have between 20 and 40 people. So, and when you go to conferences, this is what you find is that the clubs are shrinking a little bit. So one of the things that we're looking at is how can we get our name known so that people show up and join and participate and foster the cause of friendship and peace. So that's one of the things we're looking at. All right, so now we step out a little bit. We go to the United States. Now, how many regions are there in the United States? Anybody know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inside the U.S., outside of the Southwest region, how many from, because we got clubs in Hawaii all the way. I don't know if we got any in Maine. So 8, 4.
Outside of the Southwest region, let's say, in the U.S. Oh, and counting ours?
Yeah.
5. Let's say.
And the answer is 9. So again, kind of north to westish to eastish.
Oh.
Florida is its own region because they've got like 10 or so clubs in there, 10 or 15 clubs in what you do. And by the way, I've turned this all into a PDF and you all are going to get it in your email. But if you want to take a picture, go right ahead and allow. But we've got clubs all over the place. And although it's a couple years old, here's our distribution in the United States. So there are no clubs, if you'll notice, there are no clubs up in the Dakotas. I think, where is it? Arkansas doesn't have a club. Idaho has some clubs up in the top, but a pretty decent distribution. And so who is going on an outbound to someplace in the United States? All right, so about half. So Mary, where have you been? Give me a couple of places. Okay, so Mary's been to Portland, Great Falls, Montana, Alabama. Layla, where have you been? Hi, Layla. She's been to Great Falls as well. Yeah, Sarasota's down here. Who else has been out of town? Who's been on it? Doris, where'd you go? Yeah. And so that was to the US. It was actually who did you go with? She went with Adelaide, Australia. So it was an international journey because it was people from Australia going, and she glommed onto it. So that's a possibility. All right. So we've got lots of clubs, and in the world, I don't know if I've got it. Yep, here we go. Duh. And if we jump out of the US, now we go to Friendship Force International. So there's 280 plus clubs in the world in 50 different countries, and that's down a little bit. Some clubs have closed down. There is a staff. There's a paid staff for Friendship Force International. The original headquarters were in Atlanta, down on one of the many Peachtree streets. But now that's distributed. Our CEO, Jeremy Schnook, he lives in Florida someplace. I don't know where. I've never found out. We've got 4 paid staff that live in Florida and in Atlanta and in some other place. And then we have what are called regional service support managers. And those are people who are in the UK, Germany, someplace in Brazil, in Japan, and a couple other places. And what they do is they help do a lot of the administrative stuff, but then they also help out when somebody is going from one country to another country and those 2 clubs need some communication or need some things ironed out. You go and talk to the regional support manager and they can figure it out. So Julia has been working with our regional support manager in Asia, Noriko, to figure out what's the buzz on Taiwan. So if we can't get a hold of them, we talk to them. Yes, M. Yes, go right ahead.
How many clubs are in the US and then worldwide? Approximately.
64 in America.
64 in America?
64 in USA.
USA and worldwide?
Worldwide.
280 some odd.
That's close. What about the membership today in the US and worldwide?
I don't have that number, and the worldwide is, depending on how they count, is anywhere between 12 and 15,000 worldwide members. Right? Okay. We have a board of directors, and I think almost all of them are members of club from around the world. It used to be 20 years ago, they were almost all from North America and England, and now they've got people from I think every continent, every club. We've got people from Indonesia and Japan and Africa and here, there, and everywhere. So they set a lot of the policies for the organization to go off and do. And then they also have an international advisory council with 4 people. And I got all this information off of the international website, friendshipforce.org. There's a tab up there that says about, and it says leadership and governance. And that's where I got all this information. And you could too. All right, and just like any organization, we have conferences. We have regional conferences, and we have what they call a world conference as opposed to an international conference. So it's like, in the past, it's been like every couple of years, and it would be in Europe one year, it would be in the Americas another year, and it would be in Asia another year. So they would move it around. So who's been to an international world conference before? All right, so you get to meet people from clubs near and far and wide, and you get to visit with your friends that you've met before. So this year's conference is going to be in Dubrovnik, Croatia. And I know who's been to Dubrovnik, Croatia ever before. And I've heard it is fabulous, right? It's a small, I don't know, it's not a very big city, right? It's on the ocean, on a harbor. And if you go to, and if you get, the Friendship Force, if you get onto myfriendshipforce.org, my.friendshipforce.org, there's a picture of the hotel where they're going to have the conference, and it's fabulous. All right, so that takes you from Dallas to the US to the world. We're a worldwide organization with clubs and people all over the place. You know, you go on a journey, you meet somebody, and then you keep into contact with them, and you find out what's going on in the world. And so somebody I talked to yesterday, Mary Jane Wilson, she wanted to know, she wasn't sure, but so we've got somebody who's from Turkey, and so she wanted to know if the people in Izmir were affected by the earthquake. And I said, well, not directly, but indirectly, because now there's probably people in Izmir who've gone over to Antakya, something like that place where they had the big massive, massive earthquake. But so she wanted to know because Mary Jane had been to Izmir, and so she was concerned about those people over there. So those are things you choose that happen. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a short video.
It was just a week visiting another country, staying with a host family, a chance to see the sights, to taste new food, to meet new people, a week of adventure. It was just a week. A week beneath someone else's roof, living with a family who volunteered to open their doors to us, to share their values and beliefs, their rituals and traditions. But they did more than that. As we followed them to local landmarks, as we joined them on their daily routines, as we sat beside them over dinner, they shared more than just their culture. They shared their lives with us, and we shared the same with them. That's when we began to understand the value of what we were doing, the value of a family welcoming a stranger, the value of a stranger becoming a friend. We live in a global society. Never before have more people interacted on an international scale. But as cultures and nations collide, obstacles arise. We make assumptions. We misunderstand. But what if we responded to each other with curiosity and acceptance? What if the simple bonds of friendship could be a global force for understanding and peace? That's what we're doing at Friendship Force International, building peace, one friendship at a time. Founded by Wayne Smith and endorsed by President Jimmy Carter in 1977, Friendship Force International is a non-profit organization dedicated to promoting global understanding through travel. We recruit private citizens as friendship ambassadors to travel internationally, immersing themselves in local culture in order to spread the message of international friendship and global peace. We've grown into a global network of Friendship Force clubs, led by volunteers in more than 350 communities throughout 70 countries, totaling approximately 16,000 members worldwide. Visiting ambassadors spend a week or more in the home of a host, developing long-lasting relationships through a true cultural exchange that promotes friendship and international goodwill. Our members are ordinary people just like you, who travel or host in the name of global friendship. So experience different views, discover common ground, become a member of Friendship Force today, and join the movement. It's just a week that can change your life, a week that can change the world.
So that was from 2017. So that's why those numbers are different from what I talked about. All right, so now, as I talked about, one of the main things that we do is journeys. So I want to bring up our journey organizer, Julia Cooper.
Okay. Okay, yes.
Okay, so hold on a second. I need to do this so the people on the deal can hear you.
Okay. Wherever.
And if you could at least talk into that so people can hear you here. And let me know when you want to change screens.
Okay. Okay. So I'm Julia Cooper. My husband and I, Art, have been members for about 9 years. And now I've ended up being the journey coordinator, except I kind of said, let me call myself the journey organizer, because we have somebody called a journey coordinator that helps put the whole journey together. And so a JC and a JC, we get muddled up. So now I am the journey organizer for both within America and overseas. I really believe that journeys are the lifeblood of the club. I mean, there are other things too, but when you don't have journeys, it's kind of lost. You know we haven't been journeying since 2019, and members have had a hard time continuing being a member, doing anything. So anyway, journeys are super important, and we have both international and domestic. Now, with domestic journeys, we have the authority to organize one going to a city. Like right now, we're in the middle of organizing the trip to Dayton, Ohio, which will be in May of this year, May the 20th, 21st, something, 18th. So we are going to Dayton, and we have a JC, journey coordinator, called Barbara, who's not here, Barbara Taylor. And her main job is to recruit people for the journey. Because if you don't have anybody going, you don't have a journey. We have, I think, a maximum of either 12 or 16. That's kind of slightly flexible. And right now we have about 11 people. So we've got enough to have a journey. And we're trying to see if somebody else would like to come. So if anybody here is interested, we've now spread the word out to all the Southwest Conference. So if people from the Southwest Conference, like from Houston or from Oklahoma, want to come, we'll say, send us an application. But if there are people in the club that want to go, they'll get priority. So if anybody's interested, it's going to be a fun trip. They're going to take us to lots and lots of places. We're actually going to go on a car ride to see covered bridges. And I've never in my life seen one. And of course, they have a lot of aeronautical history. So we've got all sorts of things organized. And then in October, they're going to come to us. And we're going to show them Dallas. We usually have them for 1 week. And in order to be able to do it, we will be needing a journey coordinator from our club that will put a journey together with lots of help. There's lots of different areas that people all work together to put the journey together. And it's quite complicated, but it's definitely worth it. Then we also have global journeys. Now, a global journey, the last one that we know that we had was in 2019, and we had an architectural global journey of Dallas. And I think we had maybe 20 people. So Felicity, global journeys are a little bit hard to do because you have to be both the JC for the incoming and the JC for the outgoing. You're the only JC, but global journeys are wonderful. So we had lots and lots of compliments about our trip, our journey here. So that's the other kind of journals. And of course, we have domestic and international. So Friendship Force International require me and Sandy to put together where we would like to go internationally next year. We did this last year, and there's a list which you can find somewhere that tells you all over the world where there are countries and where there are clubs and how many people can they get. So you have an idea when you apply to the form that where you want to go. You kind of have an idea where's a good place to look. I mean, right now our top place that we want to go is Canada. We haven't been to Canada for a long time, and Canada have 20 clubs, and they can take 31 weeks altogether of people. Different times, most of them are a week, but they have 31 weeks available to accept people, ambassadors. America, of course, is the biggest. America has 64, and we can do 108 weeks all together. but that, these aren't cast in stone. So, it's hard to get a good international exchange, and we're supposed to be going to Taiwan this year. I don't think it's going to happen between COVID. Yes. Okay, global is anybody in the world that wants to come to it can. International, you just go to a particular city, and it's not in America. So like next year, we've asked to go to Vancouver, Canada. If we don't get to go there, we might get to go to Costa Rica or Japan or Germany. And we don't organize that. FFI, they put all the films together and they decide who goes where. Yes. Right.
So, and we have a lot of architects, famous architects that go into their parts community.
Right.
And so we did something that was a fitness area, so homeless area.
You can enjoy your visits to Dallas Public Library. We'll be closing in 15 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Your materials, pick up your printouts, or make your last stop to the restroom at this time. Thank you.
Whoa.
All right, so let me summarize. So to your question, Peggy, what's the difference between a global and an international? A global, one club is organizing it. They can accept people from anywhere in the world, and it's to a location that is going to showcase something that's kind of unique about their region. There was one, Montreal and Haliburton Highlands up in Canada. They do a winter thing. You can go skiing on the Rideau Canal, and you can go cross-country skiing up in Canada. So it's something that's unique about that. But anybody can go. And we go to the next slide. So now the question is, well, how do I find out about it?
Okay, journeys are listed on, oh, sorry. I'm both falling apart, that's okay. Okay, you can go to a couple of websites that you'll all have access to, because you'll all have access to all these slides. But there's one that's, it's a long one. It's called archivefriendshipforce.org, our catalog of upcoming journeys. Now, you don't remember that, don't worry. It's going to be up there and you'll get it in the mail. But I just ran off for the heck of it. Oh, gee, I'm losing everything. What? Okay, don't I have it with me? There is a long list of where there are journeys coming up this year that still have some availability. I must have left it at home. I'll find it when I get back into the car. Nope. So you can go on that website and you'll see a list, and it was probably 40, 50, 60 altogether, a lot. And it just gives you where they're going, who's going where, the number, and a number to call to text people if you're interested. So that's one way. They also have the catalog on the website, which is that the first one? The top one. And they'll tell you about, say, 12 journeys that are coming up that aren't full.
These are other people's journeys.
Correct.
That you may join if they're not full.
Right. So we, several years ago, we found there was a journey to England, which is where I'm from. Oklahoma needed people. And sure enough, I got on it. And we went on a wonderful trip, but that was being found out in the catalog. So those are worth looking. Okay, oh, here it is. So this is 2 pages of the journeys that are coming up. And it's interesting to just look at them, where they're all going. Okay. So we're hoping next year to go to Vancouver. We had Vancouver come to us about 5 years ago. So now we feel like we can go to them because we've had them. And hopefully FFI realized that. Okay, what else? So we've got the catalogs.
Go to that first link, you'll get a, what's known as a Google slide, kind of like PowerPoint. And it has the most recent set of journeys that are looking for people. And there's, right now, I think there's like about 8 or 10. The next page will show all of them. Here's an example of what that looks like.
Okay,
Now, this one.
yeah, I've got this one right here too.
Wait list only, so they're full up. So who's going to, so she got in. So Peggy's gonna go to Schleswig Holstein. And there's a lot of stuff going on. And this one is pretty complete because it tells you when it's gonna happen, approximate cost of it, who's the organizer, and a little bit about what's gonna happen during that journey. All right, so you can go to the catalog and you can go look at the catalog and see what's going on. If you're not interested in going to Taiwan or wherever we go this year. The other list, I don't have a printout of it, but it's just a long list.
Yeah.
And you really can't do much with it, but there's a way that you can contact FFI and say, I want to.
Right.
There's one.
That's only through March.
All right. Greater Seattle to Perth and Bundaberg. So if you want to go to Australia, you could find out, you could ask FFI and say, hey, can you tell me about 23098? I'd like to go to Australia. Who do I need to contact? And they'll give you the information on how to do that. All right.
Okay, so how much more?
Yeah. So
I have
we're
10 more
almost done.
minutes.
Anything else?
So anyway, it's real important. Journeys are great fun, but we are representing America. We are representing Dallas, depending on where we're going. And it's real important to make them feel like we're happy to be there. We want to know more about what you do, who you are. We want to get to know you, not just as a tourist. We want to get to know people as a good friend. Because Mary, like in particular, she is so good at keeping up with all the various people she's met. And so is Sandy. Sandy's the best. But anyway, anything else? Any other questions? Between Everett and I, we can probably. Yeah. But you get a little compensation.
Go.
Oh, we have people.
All right. Okay, so the question is, or the comment is that if you're a journey coordinator, so I was a journey coordinator for when Cedar Rapids and Madison came. So I did a lot of work, got a lot of people involved in it. So what do I get besides being a friend to people from Cedar Rapids and Madison who we went to 3 years ago? All right, so our club does 2 things. If you're leading a group on an outbound journey, you can add a fee to the ambassador's costs that help pay for your travel costs.
We call it an earned seat fee.
Because literally you used to get an earned seat on a plane. All right, but if you're driving, you can still get an earned seat. So you
if
get,
there's, say 20 people going, they'll put, the JC will put it into the budget how much we're just popping aside for that purpose.
right. So that's part of your ambassador fees, and almost any outbound journey you go on, it's either going to be there explicitly, but you can always ask the person, hey, so give me a breakdown of these costs, and they'll tell you what the deal is. Okay, so if you're a JC, an outbound JC, you get some assistance in getting to where it is you're going, because you've got to organize all these people. When you're a host of an inbound, who's been an inbound ambassador? I mean, a JC. I've been one. Ray, Mary, Patty. Okay. So our board said, we do a lot. Those people do a lot of work, so we ought to give them something. So what we decided several years ago is that I have a credit on a Dallas outbound that I can use over the next couple of years. So if I want to go on an outbound that Dallas is leading, then I can say, hey, I'd like to use my credit. So I get something out of it. And home hosts get a little benefit. They get the farewell dinner and stuff like that. So there are some financial advantages to it, but the whole idea is be a friend. Any other questions? All right, so if you're a host on an inbound, who's been a host on an inbound? Ask all them. But basically what you do is you put somebody up for a week in your home. You offer them something for breakfast. And then and if you can't, you get somebody else in the club to take that person to the event that day and then bring them back to your house, and you get to talk more and learn more and all kinds of stuff. If you can't do it one day, there's a part of the inbound committee is a day host. So somebody can come and pick that person up, or I meet them someplace and I can take them off. That person takes them off so that if I've got to go do something else, they can go off and do that. So it's basically you give them a place to stay, you give them something to eat in the morning. They're going to take you out one night to dinner. You can take them to some fancy little place or some little hole in the wall place or something that's really interesting in your neighborhood, and you get to share about your world with this person from another place.
So basically, the home host really doesn't have to provide lots of meals, breakfast, and then there's maybe one other meal. I mean,
Yeah, a couple of
we
meals.
hosted recently, and we didn't have any evenings available.
So one of the ways you can participate, if you're not home hosting, you can say, hey, I've got a large enough place. I'll do a dinner at my house. I'll organize and coordinate with some other people to do a dinner, and the ambassador and their host go to that person's house, and then they don't have to cook or go out to eat that night. Or you can just take them. So we had some people from Britain. The guy wanted a typical American meal. He wanted a hamburger. So I took him to Snuppers, and he loved it.
So I've been with the closing in 5 minutes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So did everybody get your little yellow coupon? Because now we're going to do the drawing. I didn't know that we only had 4 because the next thing I was going to do is I was going to talk to you what I do as a field rep. And basically I'm a liaison between the clubs and international, and I meet and help them out with questions. I had a question this week about some stuff, and so people contact me. So if you talk to your club first, if the club doesn't know, you talk to your field rep. If the field rep doesn't know, I go talk to international. And then we didn't have enough time. We'll have to do it another time. I wanted to show you my Friendship Force website, but
We can sit around in the parking.
yeah, we can do that. We just use their Wi-Fi outside, okay? But let me go back to the certificate drawing. All right, so everybody got their coupon? Get your little coupon out.
I'll do all that.
Yeah.
And yes.
People that don't have one, raise their hands and make sure I didn't.
All right, so who hasn't received a coupon? Everybody's got a coupon. Real soon. We're almost finished. We got last thing we're doing. All right. I'm not drawing. I can't. So Randy is going to draw, and we have 2 gift certificates. Right now they're pieces of paper, but they will turn into either cash or a gift card. We didn't want to get some kind of a gift card that you wouldn't use. So yeah. So Randy, why don't you come over here and tell us which one you're giving away first?
All right. For $25, the winning ticket number is 951081. Oh, Layla.
All right. All right, and the second drawing, this one is for a $50 gift certificate. And the number is
951066.
066. All right, our guest, Sharon, right? All right, so we will get you, you can turn that into cold hard cash if you want. All right. So what we're going to do now is we don't have to do anything with chairs. I just got to put all this equipment up and we get out of here. And we are going to go to the Italian restaurant that's down at Forest and Abrams, Primo's Pizza and Pasta. You go up here to Greenville Avenue, You go to Forest, you take a right on Forest, you go all the way down to the first traffic light, down there by the Bank of America, you take a right, and it's kind of at the back end of the shopping center, or just call me and I'll direct you there. All right. So everybody is welcome to come and join us for dinner, for lunch, or late lunch, whatever it is. And we can carry on more conversations. And if there's any questions that you've got, you can ask other members. You can ask me, you can ask any of the board members, any of the committee chairs. So hopefully you learned a little bit more about Friendship Force today, right? All right. Thanks everybody for coming out.
So I.
Bye, Sandy.